Hello, hello, and welcome to my thought on this very sunny, warm Saturday in London. Uh, I read my newspapers a week late, and I'm reading about the fires in Atlanta and the rage that I hope is still brewing for the mindless killing of George Floyd. Um, and if you think that this is a one-off, you need to know that this happens daily in America. And for the most part, it is never noticed. It is never noticed. And I'm reminded of my friend Rochelle, who in 1955 married a black football player because we let them play football then. Uh, and they toured the world because he was a star football player. And when they did, they couldn't, because they were married, they could not stay in the same hotel because at that time in the 50s, and that's not that long ago, um, black people could not stay in hotels that white people had stayed in. And the other shocking fact is that I read somewhere that one of the reasons universal health care is not going over in the United States, is not passing, is because the southern states do not want to desegregate hospitals. And that is horrid to me. So I was thinking, when, when in a person does this sense of elitism happen? When do white people suddenly think they're better? When do black people start believing they're inferior? I remember my friend Matthew, who is Asian, who wanted to adopt a child, and he said, "But they won't let me." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I'm yellow." And I looked at him. I said, "You're the same color I am. I don't get that." So I wondered when it began. And I'm reminded of this incident when I was teaching at Elmhurst School in Toledo, Ohio. And I was in charge of the bulletin boards. And February in America is Brotherhood Month. And of course, it's also the month for Valentine's Day. So I got this marvelous idea that for the bulletin board, my little 7-year-olds, that's what I was teaching, and I have the cutest 7-year-olds. I did whenever I taught. I was a very lucky teacher. My children were the most beautiful ever, all of them. But this class was especially gorgeous, and I just loved them. And I thought, well, for the bulletin board, let's have something, because it's Brotherhood Week. Let's have something interracial and about Valentine's Day. So I said to the children, why don't we make life-size pictures, effigies of all the different races in the human spectrum, and have them all holding hands, and say, "Let's all be brothers," and then have them all and put Valentines all around. And the children said, "Oh, that would be fun." I said, "Okay, who knows the different races?" And the children said, "The 7 Mile race, the marathon." I said, "No, no, races, different human races." I said, and this was in the days when you could say this, people. So this is back in the 50s. I said, there's the men and women are of different colors. So my children, and this was an interracial school, were of every race. I had Asian children, I had black children, I had Caucasian children, and um, they were all different. They were all together, and 7-year-olds. There was no evidence that I saw that there was any discrimination from one for the other. And they were all equal in my class anyway, but they were all equal. And I said, well, there are many colors, I said, of the human race. There's yellow, there's red, there's white, and there's black. Have I left out anything? I think that's it. and and they all looked at me. They said, "Yeah." Huh? I said, "Okay. Now, who wants to draw a white person the same size as you?" And my little Pollyann raised her hand. She said, "I will. I will. I'll draw a white person. I can do that." And I said, "Okay." And then I said, "Who wants to draw a red person? Do you know what a red person is?" And little Jeffrey said, "Yeah, that's an Indian." And I'm really good with Indians. So I said, okay, you'll draw the Indian, and who wants to do a yellow person? And my little Gregory, who was Asian, said, I'll do that. And I thought he knew what I was talking about. And I said, well, that's fine. And then, so we have a red, uh, white, blue, and how about the black person? And my little Bobby said, well, okay, I'll do the black person. And they all started industriously doing the figures while the rest of us made Valentines. And then at the end, I looked at the result. And Pollyanne's white person was absolutely white, like the sheet that you print in your printer, white with blue eyes. And I said, well, what about eyebrows? And she said, oh, I wanted them to be really white. I said, okay. And then I looked at Jeffrey's red person, and it was fire engine red with feathers. And I looked at the Gregory's yellow person, and it was bright yellow, like a slicker. Uh, and then Bobby's black person was just a sheet of black. So I said to them, those are very wonderful, but they're not real people. I said, let's try to make them look like real people. I said, people that you know. We have people in our class that are all those different colors. And everybody's looking around, where? And I said, well, now, for example, Jeffrey, you see black people every day. And everybody in the class looked at me and was so envious. He does? And Jeffrey said, I do. I said, yes, you do, darling. I said, who do you have dinner with? And he said, Mama and Daddy and Judy. I said, no, this isn't working. So I thought, okay, we will just do these figures just the way they are, and we'll do Let's All Be Valentines. And I thought to myself, would that we could see the world through the eyes of a children. I want to interject one thing. Pollyanne said to me, I said, well, Pollyanne, that isn't really a person, that white thing with blue eyes and no eyebrows and no this. She said, oh, Miss Miller, she said, nobody's really white. And I thought, she's right. So I was thinking to myself, would that we all could see the world with the eyes of a 7-year-old child. What a beautiful, beautiful world it would be. And thank you very much for joining me for my very long thought.